going on one street over from where you live. And we're living right in Robeson County because it is a beautiful, beautiful day. Oh my goodness, still in the 20s this morning, but it's quickly warming up. Going into the 50s today, 60s, maybe even touching the edge of 70 later this week. So as we said last week when the snow came through, all you got to do is just take a minute, take a breath, and you're going to be just fine. Everything's going to be beautiful and wonderful. What have we got going on today? We're expecting Rose Wooten in here. She has not popped in just yet, but Rose Wooten's coming in from the library. We wanted to talk to her. There's some really cool things they have going on. One thing in particular that I'm interested in, and I think we forget sometimes the programs that are available through our library. There are just some cool things that are out there. And so they've got a financial planning session that's going on this week. And we've changed our because we missed our parent-teacher meeting last week, we've moved ours to Thursday night, so I'm probably not going to be able to go, but I think my husband is. But it's something we all need to be thinking about, and it is a free seminar that they have at the library going on this week. I'll try to see if I can find the full schedule, but I do know they have a class on Thursday night at 6 o'clock, and they have some during the day. But that's one thing with the classes at the library. They try to accommodate everybody and offer not just morning classes, but afternoon classes as well, or evening classes, things like that for those of us who can't get there, during the day. So hopefully we'll see Rose coming on in here in just a minute. And let's see. I've got her on here from 7:30. Nope, that's when Hinerman's coming in. I needed her 7 to. I messed up on the schedule. I needed her 7 to 7:30 because I've got Mr. Hinerman coming in here at 7:30. I messed up, so that is on me, Lee Marie. You can tell her. Let's see here. Yeah, I've got 2 people coming in here at 7:30, so I messed up this morning. If Rose can get on in here, that would be great. But if you can call her and just push pause on her because I've got Mr. Hinerman coming in at 7:30. It's Love the Bus Month. So I apologize. I sent them both the same timeline. Normally we'd be talking to Kerry Roberts right now, but he is tied up with everything going on with the session that's going on down in Nashville. So we will be touching base with him hopefully here very, very soon. But he sends his regards to everyone. But anyway, well, let me see if I can pull up the library schedule and kind of go over it with you. I am so sorry. What a way to start a week, huh? I thought I had it all worked out. But again, the library is one of those places that is just phenomenal. But again, Lee Marie, if you're listening, if you can call Rose and tell her well, let's get her rescheduled. Because I've got Mr. Hinerman coming in at 7:30 unless she can get on in here in the next few minutes and us talk to her until 7:30. But otherwise, we'll reschedule that one. A couple of things that, again, are going on at the library that we want to remind you of. I'm going to see if I can pull up their Facebook page real quick. But they've got this financial planning seminar that has been going on. And we were scheduled, my husband and I, we have been scheduled to go to the one on Thursday night at 6 o'clock. But I do know that they have some others that are scheduled as well. Let me see if we can find these. But there's just all kinds of fun stuff going around that you can do at the library. If you've not been to our library lately, you really don't know what you're missing, because besides all the really cool programs that they have and special classes that they'll have, they have got this deal where you can go in and you will be able to check out adventures instead of just going, it used to be you go in, I know whenever I was a kid, you'd go in and you would check out books. Well, then they started bringing in all the things that you can do with like movies, and you can get audio books, you can get all kinds of great media that's not just a book. But then you can also go in now and check out these adventures that will let you go to different like museums. There's all kinds of wonderful little places that are sometimes a lot of times they've got memberships that somebody has donated where you can go in. I know there's like a car museum or something up in Nashville. I forget the name of it. I have a friend of mine that works there, but I can't remember the name right offhand. But you can go and check that out, and that's got passes for that. But it is just one of those really cool things that if you really want to do something different with your kids, as we're coming up on spring break, guys. Spring break for Robeson County, just so you kind of know, is happening on, we're on spring break the 17th to the 21st of March. So if you've got your kids at home and you're wanting to do something different, why don't you consider going to the library and checking out some of these cool adventures, or maybe even reserving them? Because some of them, the more popular ones, you might have to reserve, or possibly even go in and put your name down and get on a waiting list, because they are so popular. But those are some really cool things that you can do. I will find all this schedule for you. I'm going down through my social. It's one of those things that popped up this morning on my social media page, where I knew the time on the one that's going on Thursday night is 6:00. But I know they have a 1:00 I'm wanting to say during the week. But let me see if I can't find a little bit more on this. Let's see. One thing too, just to kind of note, as kids get back to school, please, parents, make sure your kids get there. That's one of the things. I've got a few that are unfortunately chronically absent all the time, and it really messes up what the teachers are trying to do, because you figure when we get back from spring break, it'll be just a minute and we'll be ready for the end of course testing. And once that stuff starts up, it's just hard to get some of the curriculum done that you're wanting to get done. So when your kids, are not in school, it really affects what they're able to learn and what they're ready to learn. One thing too, if you've got a kiddo that is struggling and has got to take an EOC, and end of course testing, and they are not at school to get ready for that, they're not there whenever the teacher's going over that material, it really puts them in a bad place. It puts them in a bind. But let me see if I can pull up this library calendar here. Let's see here. Oh, that's the March one. We want the February one. Okay. But again, the library is having this special session right now this week where you can go in and learn about estate planning. And I think because I have just been through this with my family in Kentucky, after mom and both my parents have passed away, and so I have had to go through all this, and so it's one of those things I want to try to learn from it and maybe do some things to help my kiddos out moving forward. But let's see. Yeah, it's not on their calendar, this deal for the estate planning that they've got. I'm not seeing it on the February calendar. But I do know this week they do have a cool things like bilingual story time that they're going to have at 10:30 tomorrow that you can go and check out. They've got, they've got an adults book club that's meeting today at 1:00. They've got some public speaking that's going to be going on at 3:00 today. Family story time on Wednesday at 10:30. They've got a special time for homeschoolers at 10:30 on Thursday, and then a homeschool lab at 11:00. And again, this is all at our Stokes Brown Public Library. If you've not been to the library lately, you really don't know what you're missing. They have got board game nights that are super cool that you can go to as well. If you're somebody that's, this is one thing too. A lot of people talk about how that, they're having a hard time, finding friendships, making connections, different things like that. And I can't begin to tell you what a wonderful blessing it is if you will just jump out there and just put yourself out there, at things like this, group meetings where they're going to come around, go play some board games with some folks. And you would be amazed at the kind of friendships that you can build just getting out and putting yourself out there. Another thing that they're going to be participating in at the library is the tax prep. They've got the VITA program through United Way. If you are somebody, I'm wanting to say the family cap is if you make under 70, roughly between $70,000 and $75,000 a combined household. Like if you've got two incomes coming in and you don't exceed that, you can qualify for the United Way's VITA program, which is a tax prep program that will allow you to get your taxes prepared for free. And as I'm scrolling through the library's website, you will also see that they have it in Espanol. So if you have somebody that needs some assistance in Spanish, that is available for them as well. So that is a really good opportunity. Getting so many things going on at our library. If Lee Marie, if you find that schedule for the classes that they're doing, let me see. Okay, Rose is going to come on in here. She said that I could call her. We'll just wait for her to get on in here rather than trying to make a call on the air here right now. But oh, what was I going to say? We have got the tax program that's going to be, again, that's facilitated through United Way, and I know that the library is one of those locations. One of the things, they had been doing that in the past with the tax prep program was always at the school board, and so they've opened it up, and the library, and I think the Y is where they're doing those VITA programs now. But that is one of those really cool things that you can absolutely tap into and see what's going on there as well. Again, Rose is going to make her way on in here and is going to rush in here. We're going to have maybe just a few minutes with her when she pops in. We're expecting Josh Hinerman. He is our Director of Transportation for Robertson County Schools, because this is Love the Bus Month. Love the Bus Month is going on right now. And there is nobody that loves the bus more than Josh Hinerman. I'll just be honest with you. My husband worked over at the bus shop for a while, and had a great time working with him. And we'll have him come in here and talk to us a little bit about the things that are going on. If you are interested in helping with our transportation department, one thing we'll talk about is that there's always job openings, and you might be surprised at what a good fit you would be to help with the transportation of our students. So we got Mr. Hinerman that'll be coming on in here in just a little bit. There's also some things going on. Let's see here. They've got, let me see if she's popping this up here. Lee Marie, this schedule for us. Yeah, Lee Marie, I've got the calendar, but I don't have the schedule for this estate planning that they have going on right now. But we'll get that in just a moment. They've got Leadership Robertson County is presenting Mr. Robertson County. Now, this is one of those things that's, they've got this posted up on the website, and I saw this yesterday. I can't go through all the different ones that are in this, but this is a fundraiser for the Isaiah 117 house, and they have got a list of some great guys that they're going to vote for Mr. Robertson County, and I think that's absolutely hysterical. I think it's going to be an absolutely great time for them to maybe raise some money for the Isaiah 117 house, and we'll be able to crown somebody Mr. Robertson County. So that's going to be coming up on March 8th at 4 p.m. And you'll start seeing that pop up on social media around town. If you go to the chamber, I believe this is where you'll find out a lot about that, because it's Leadership Robertson County that's associated with the Robertson County Chamber of Commerce, and you'll see those different choices that you can make. And I've already picked my favorite that you make a donation to vote for it, and I guess it's whoever raises the most money will be crowned Mr. Robertson County, but that's going to be a lot of fun. That's coming up on March 8th at 4 p.m. And what Lee Marie is telling me is that there's a private group that's putting on the estate planning at the library, and so that's why the times are not posted on the library calendar. But I do know for a fact that they do have one coming up this Thursday night at 6 o'clock. That's the one that I had been registered for, that I now have teachers meetings for, but I think my husband is still going to be able to go ahead and go to that one. I'm going to keep scrolling through and see if I can find the complete listing. But as we're waiting for all the guests to get here that I messed up on the schedule, I do want to go ahead and let's talk about our sponsor, Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty. They are great friends of mine. I met them originally at the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival many, many years ago. And I'm thinking this is probably, I don't know, I think it's about 11th or 12th festival that's coming up, and we're super excited about it. It's going to be coming up on May 16th and 17th. We'll have the Dan Kelly, of course, fiddle competition on Friday night that you will not want to miss. It'll be a lot of fun, and we'll have a barn dance that will happen there just behind the stage. They have got this great venue that they have redone the stage. They've put in concrete. It is just a fabulous, fabulous venue now for us to go and have a nice, fun dance. But that will be happening on Friday night, and then we'll have a full day of bluegrass on the 17th. So you want to save the date for May 16th and 17th for the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival coming up very quickly. You, of course, will see Barry and Rebecca there. They're always there. They're one of the founding sponsors of that, and they're also on the board that brings us the festival every year. So that will be a great opportunity for you to sit down if you have some questions, just to sit down across the table from them and just say, hey, this is something I'm thinking about. Rebecca being one of the first in the area to be a seniors real estate specialist, she is specifically trained to help and make sure that if you're a little bit older and you're wondering about selling property and what it would mean for your family, they can help you with that. And there's capital gain tax, all those kinds of things that you have to weigh into the equation if that's something that you're considering doing. She's expertly trained at that, and she can help you very, very navigate those waters very well. Barry is, of course, our marketer that's in the group. He is the broker. He has a brokerage office here in Springfield. She has a agency office up in White House, and they brought those two offices together to bring you Exit Prime Realty, a new branch in the Exit tree. They were with the Garden Gate team for many years. It's a little over a year ago now that they decided to kind of branch out on their own and bring you Exit Prime Realty. But if you want to, you'll find Facebook pages for both Barry and Rebecca. You'll find web pages. They talk a lot about historical properties that they've worked with. You talk about Barry's marketing abilities with all the videography and photography and drone footage, walkthrough tours that he can do that will uniquely present your property in a way that people won't miss it when it's been presented. If you want to reach out to them, they are cross-planians, we like to call them. They are right here in Robertson County, so they specialize in Robertson County properties, but they also buy and sell in the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky, because like me, they are from Kentucky. You can reach out to Rebecca at 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425, or go to sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, or buy, B-U-Y, robertsoncounty.com. But please always let them know that U-Turn sent you. And we are waiting for our guest. And typically we try to get Carrie Robertson here on the fourth Monday, and we had an opening, and so I typed it wrong, guys. It just happens sometimes. But Rose is going to try to make her way in here and let's have a short visit with her before Josh Hinerman makes his way in. We're talking about the library, and if you have not been to the Stokes Brown Public Library, you absolutely do not know what you're missing. You will have so much fun if you just go in there. If you're somebody that doesn't like to read, maybe get an Audible book. You might be able to find an Audible book that you can get a physical book that goes with it, and then sit down and maybe read it as somebody reads to you. And you may be just absolutely stunned at the fact that you might discover the love of reading. They've got an adults book club that you could be a part of that I saw on the calendar. If you go to their Facebook page, you can pull up their calendar, and the events that are sponsored by the library, you will find all of those there. This estate planning program that I was talking about, that's an independent, an independent group that's bringing that to the library. And so that just happened to pop up on social media for me, and that's something that my husband and I are both interested in, simply because we've been through a lot of this with both of our, his parents have passed, mine have passed, and it's just something that you don't really want to think about it. But what you really don't want to think about is your family having to stress over dealing with all of it once you're gone. And, even the best plan, there are things that will end up throwing you if you're not careful. And I think I have finally found this here. It's free estate planning. Let's see. They've got one happening today at 6:30 p.m. And it's not giving me all the other times. They've got one at 6 o'clock on Thursday, and they've got one at 6 o'clock tonight. If you want to go for this one. But again, this is going to be free estate planning that you can come in and check out. But they're just a great opportunity if you're interested in trying to get in front of this. They do have some opportunities during the day that you can check out as well. And hopefully when Rose gets in here, we may be able to get a complete schedule. But I'm just not finding that full schedule just yet. But it's something that you really want to be a part of if you can possibly work that into your schedule. Also want to remind you that we had the commissioners meeting is tonight instead of the normal time when you would find it, because of the President's Day holiday last week. They moved it from the third Monday night to the fourth Monday night. So your county commissioners meeting, your mayor and your county mayor and county commissioners meeting will happen tonight. And once they have that, we'll always have Mayor Vogel will come popping in, and he will come in and see us tomorrow to where we can discuss with him everything that went on there. But it's always a lot of fun sitting down and talking to Mayor Vogel, and we'll look forward to that as well. This is Love the Bus Month, so we're looking forward to hearing from Josh Hinerman. If you're somebody that has, just trying to kind of wondering, what you could be doing, is there something more interesting that you could add to your life. If you've never worked with the kiddos in the school system, you really don't know what you're missing. It's something that my husband and I have absolutely fallen in love with. If you're new to the program, he and I both have retired from our original careers, and have retired into teaching, is what we like to tell people. It's something that I'd always kind of in the back of my mind thought I would do. And the opportunity came to come on in here, Josh. Come on in. I'm running. I've messed up my guest. I'll have him come on in. Rose, come on in and sit down if you don't mind. But it's something that I always thought I might do, and I have really enjoyed being in the school system. So I'm just trying to convince people they need to come in and work with our kiddos. Now, what happened, Josh? I had invited Rose and you both at 7:30, and I intended to have her come at 7. So she may come popping in here in a minute. So we may have to kind of do a little dual thing here for just a few minutes so she can kind of talk a little bit about the library as well. Do you know Rose Wooten?
I think so.
I think you've probably met her at some point. But it's Love the Bus Month.
It is Love the Bus Month.
There's nobody that loves the bus more than you.
I would agree.
I was going to say, I like your little pen there. Who got you a little over there on the
I found that on Amazon.
Okay, that's super cute.
If I see it, I'm going to buy it.
You're funny. You're funny. Josh Hinerman, he's our Director of Transportation for Robertson County Schools. And I'm so glad you could make time for us today.
Yes, it's been a busy morning. It started about 4 o'clock this morning, so we got a lot of folks out and running around getting buses, trying to get them to the right folks so the subs can run them and start hopefully on time. So I think we got everything within about a 10-minute window this morning.
Bless your heart. Have you already driven a route?
I have. I've been on a route.
That's what I was going to say.
A bus this morning.
That's what I was going to say. Rose, come in here and sit down with us. We'll introduce y'all. Rose, come on in here. It's okay. Come on in here. This is on me. Y'all are my friends. Y'all love me anyway. I know. But we'll just have Rose just kind of just real quick. I apologize, Rose. Come on up to that microphone. Do you know Josh Hinerman?
Yes.
I've seen her.
So she is at the library, and I messed up, and I meant to have you come in at 7 and have him come in at 7:30 because I knew he had a bus route to drive.
Yes.
But
well, because I was going to say,
you got to get on that microphone if you're going to talk.
A lot of buses came through this morning.
Yes, they did. Can you just tell us real quickly, do you have the schedule for the real estate thing that they're doing? Because I know that because that's one of the reasons I wanted to have you in. Because I've just recently gone through the real estate planning situations with my parents, have both passed. And so we just had that. And so when I saw this pop up at the library, the real estate planning schedule, we signed up for it. And I cannot find the schedule saying what the different times are. Because I know they've got it Thursday night at 6, but Lee Marie was telling me that it might be that you don't have the schedule because it's something that's independent of the library.
It is independent. Okay. There's a lot of things that go on that is not like partnering with us. Okay. So I have no control over it. They did take the community room, and they have their schedule all set up, and it's just not provided for us.
Okay. Would it be something they would have in the library if somebody stopped by that was really interested, maybe?
No, it would have to be the contact of them.
Okay. Well, if I can find out anything in the next day or so, because I know I'm registered to go on Thursday night, but they've moved our parent-teachers meetings to that night.
Oh,
so okay. Because everybody's trying to, Mr. Hinerman can tell you, it's like right now we're hurrying up to catch up. Because everybody that canceled stuff last week, now it's all, we got to get this schedule done. We got to get this stuff in because we're just, a couple of weeks from spring break now. And I mean.
Yes. And TCAP is around the corner.
TCAP testing.
Yes.
TCAP testing.
Critical. Yes. So, I mean, it's just all that stuff. Well, and what's the difference between TCAP and EOC? Or is that all the same thing? End of course testing is what we call it. EOCs, is that TCAP and all the same thing?
That really has a lot to do with your high school classes. you wouldn't have that so much at the TCAP is K through 8.
Okay.
Or 1 through 8, I believe.
Okay, because see, I hear that all the time, and I'm still new to this teaching gig, So there's a lot of those little acronyms that people have been in the teaching world or in the school world longer. And so that's the younger ones. Okay, and that's a big deal now, especially that third grade thing where that promotional thing.
There's a lot of weight put on that test.
You better believe it. Well, and the EOCs too for high school students. That's one thing when I started and realized my mess up on the schedule. I was just talking to them from a teacher perspective. When your kids miss school, I mean, they've been out all this past week and they're going to be, go back to school. But it's like, come on, we've had some snow days. We got things to do. And if your kids are missing school, number one, if your teachers that do the end of course testing, when they're covering material to get them ready for those tests, you are setting them up to fail. You got to get them there. And I mean, if they're sick, of course, keep them home. But oh my goodness, we know so many. I've got one or two in my mind right now that I'm like, they better be there today, in my class. But anyway, it's so important. But I wanted to bring Rose in. I'm not going to keep you long and have you come in another day if you don't mind.
I do not mind.
Because it's Love the Bus month. We got to talk about the bus. But is there something real quickly you can tell us that's just happening at the library you want to make sure people don't miss? I mean, there's something every day, it seems like.
Speaking of snow days, last week we were supposed to do a murder mystery. But on Thursday, the snow, we were open, but we were concerned about the number of people because we were closed on Wednesday. And then Thursday we were like, So we went ahead and we moved it to this Thursday. So yes, it's absolutely free, and it is it's a murder mystery. Like it's not a dinner.
I love stuff like that. I just love stuff like that.
Yes. So that is something that we are doing. We always do the above and beyond every month. Something big that's fun. Speaking of snow, though, we do try to. We have a reading with Nana. And it's Miss Kay is a retired teacher, and then we have reading with Reading Paws, Duke the dog.
Yeah,
we try to do a lot of the younger kids. So if they are there during snow days, they can read to me. They can read, and we are trying to get them to read because they do hang out at the library because their parents are kind of like going, "What should I do now that there's any school?" So we try to help keep them engaged so they're not just sitting at home watching TV and stuff, but
in a vegetative state.
Yes.
Vegetative.
Yes.
And
but we've just got you just get those kids to school. Please don't let them lay out. I know it's hard to get them going and get them motivated, but we need them there. We need them there because we're trying to get them ready for these tests, and I've got projects I'm trying to finish. And so when one of my kids I'm expecting to be there is not there, I'm like, okay, come on.
And then they miss all that information that will be on the test, and it's so crucial. That's stuff that I wouldn't be able to teach them. I mean, I can help reinforce the basics, but other than that, they really, like you said, they have to go.
So get them to school. Get to the library. They've got you can follow Stokes Brown Public Library on Facebook and get their calendars. But as Rose was saying, the things that won't be on there are the things like this estate planning that's independent. Now, Lee Marie, if you go to the there is a link that she put up in our comments on our Facebook feed that we've got going on right now. You can click on and you can find out more. Before you go, though, I want you to tell them about this stuff where you can check out the adventures and go fishing and all of that.
Yes.
Y'all have. Will you tell them? Because I think that's one of the coolest things. Because when I went to the library, it was books. It's not anymore. What else is there?
So there's a library of things. And it's, again, going back to educating the public about different things around our area. So the library of things can rate from a backpack that has endangered animals for the little kids. It's puppetries and knowledge of what's going on. It could be that, or it could be like up in the front. You saw the fishing poles. They literally just check out a fishing pole with some fishing gear. There could be a wood burning kit. There could be we have several, like a pickleball kit where if you want to learn pickleball, it has all the rules, it has everything in there. We're trying to get you out and about. Yeah. We also have what's called passports, which allow you to go to museums like the Music Hall of Fame, the Frisk, the our museum here in Robertson County, and it's absolutely free. And you check it out, you get a badge, a lanyard, and then you try and learn about going to that. It allows the parents to, like, say they're going to go to Bowling Green and they want to go to the Railroad Museum to learn about trains. Two adults, 6 kids. Absolutely free.
Isn't that crazy? Because, I mean, you start paying those fees to go to these places. It's outrageous. And a lot of people can't afford it. Yeah. And so you can go to the library, guys, and look through these things, and you can go for free with these passes. And I just think that's one of the coolest things ever. Yeah. I mean, I wish we'd had that when my kids were little. That would be
exactly.
Great.
And then if you're trying to just do something smaller or learn a different trade or even wood burning, to buy wood burning and then it sits there.
Yeah. You know, it gives you a chance to try it out and see if the kids, it's like, hey, I really want to try that.
I really want to try that.
Go by the library and see if there's not something you can do to check it out and maybe get exposed to it without investing in it.
Frisbee golf,
really? You got
yes,
frisbee
we
golf?
have frisbee golf. Okay. We have, so like I said, you try it, you don't get stuck with all that extra stuff.
Yeah, that's a great idea, Rose. I, again, apologize for crashing you guys, but
it's okay.
Thank you for coming in and kind of giving us an overview, and we'll have you back in. Okay. And we'll visit a little bit more involved in a little more time. Okay. Thank you, Rose, always. Stokes Brown Public Library. God bless you. Thank you so much. We've got just an awesome library here in Robertson County, and I can't say enough about it. But we wanted to make sure we're just about out of February. I mean, February is almost over, and it's Love the Bus month. And we've had so much time that we've been off and things. It's just, trying to kind of, I guess during the snow days would have been a good day to had you in, right, where you wouldn't be so busy.
It would have been.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it. That would have been great. But what's going on with Love the Bus month? Do y'all have some special things happening for the drivers? Have you done some things?
Just other than just acknowledging them for the work that they do and celebrate the work that they do. Like you said, it's been a busy month. Our department, we've had our safety guys been out. He just had a baby. And
wow. That's wonderful.
We're having to all wear some extra hats right now.
Okay.
When you have one of your coordinators out, it creates a little bit of a hiccup because he does all of our social media. And he takes care of all the sub assignments and things of that nature.
Okay.
So if you're ever calling, you're saying, I got a video request or a parent complaint, he's the one that fields all that and gets it to the right person. So I've been busy with that.
Oh, bless.
I've been trying to do his work and my work. Grateful for the other coordinators. They've all been picking it up and doing and whatnot. And the mechanics, we just celebrated them last week as part of this Love the Bus month. I said, that's a group that you never really think much about, but it's the bus mechanics that are keeping the buses fit to be on the road. So, and while Love the Bus month is going on, we also have our school bus inspections taking place that the state comes in once a year and inspects every bus in the fleet. So that is a very busy time for the shop. So they do about 10 buses a day, and that state trooper comes in and he goes from top to bottom, front to back. And if there's anything that's slightly out of place, they have to fix it right then. If you have a cut seat belt or a seat back that's got a cut or a rip, or there's not enough cushion in one of the seats, he expects all that to be fixed right then and right there. Otherwise, he'll put it out of service.
Oh, wow. And does that always happen during Love the Bus month? Is it always in February, or is it just happen to fall?
February and March.
February and March, okay.
So we usually know it's coming.
Oh, my goodness.
And it happened, we had our inspection started a day early this year. Dixon had been out several days because of snow.
Right.
And so their inspections, threw their inspection schedule off.
Right.
And I think they actually were completely, when they were out of school, they're not even at work, where we come into work. 12-month employees work a lot of the time that schools may be closed. And either way, he was like, we're done there, and we need to start with you now.
Yeah.
And so they showed up a day early,
which
threw everybody off kilter, but we got through it. We've gotten through all the buses, so we still have get through the end of this week, and I believe we'll be done. And they were actually inspecting buses on the 2 days that we had snow.
Oh, really?
Which is crazy.
Yeah, so that's amazing. So how are you doing on drivers right now? I mean, you're always looking, I know,
we
but
need drivers
okay,
pretty badly. So
okay,
we've had a lot of sickness, and we've had a lot of folks out on medical leave this year. So this morning, I bet you we had 10 or 12 drivers out.
oh my
Not
goodness,
counting bus attendants.
oh
So
my,
I've got all of the mechanics driving and all of the office staff.
the driving.
Everybody's on a bus right now.
Well, see, and that's one of the things, because my husband worked with you guys for a while, and from the very get go, everybody's got to get the CDL and become a driver because we just need you.
We need it.
We need you out there. And this is a question I had for you the other day. One thing you're going to have as we're trying to, get back into the gear after missing some snow days is things that were missed that need to be rescheduled. We're trying to reschedule a field trip, and I'll be sending you a note because the field trip that I had to reschedule, it was actually from something else. We had to reschedule it, but I'm sure there'll be things that you'll have to reschedule, games, all the kind of things going on last week. But, so we're getting ready to, reschedule my field trip. And part of me is kind of in the back of my mind. I'm like, I just need to get my CDL.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to have it. Have it because of the inconvenience of trying to, if I could just drive my kids, how much easier would that be? But what is involved if somebody wants to get their CDL? Because I would have to start over and I really forget, and I guess I could just ask my husband, but,
Well, you've had a CDL before.
Correct.
In Tennessee, correct?
Right.
So you would be exempt from the entry-level driver training, which
okay.
That's a huge aspect, a huge part of the licensure process today that for folks that have their CDLs or have had them, you would be exempt from that. But for a regular person coming in that's never had a CDL, you're going to do, it's probably 15 hours worth of classes online.
Okay.
You have to complete all of those classes before we're able to even schedule you to go do your skills test.
Right.
You can get your permit. You can do all that stuff while you're working on the entry-level driver training. And what we encourage folks to do is you work on that in the evenings, and then during the day you come to the office. We teach you the pre-trip.
Mm-hmm.
We teach you the backing, which stresses a lot of people out when you tell everybody, hey, you got to do a 90-degree angle park here. That stresses folks out. And then just learning how to operate the bus in a forward motion. So you're looking at probably another 20 hours of just doing all the backing, pre-trip, and forward motion. And once you get through that process, then you're ready to drive a bus.
Yeah, and it's really not. It's not hard. I took to it very quickly.
Bus driving is easy.
It's just getting all the testing and all that, getting all the time. So, is there anything? Because I know that we have some vehicles that don't require a CDL, don't we? At the shop, or do we have vehicles that like somebody could?
You could use a van. You would need a for-hire endorsement. But we're really limited on the size or the capacity of the vans that we can use here. Tennessee prohibits the use of a vehicle that transports more than, 9 or 10 people, and rightly so. The larger vans, 10 or more passengers, or the 15 passengers, when it's windy and whatnot, they're just not safe to operate in. So the State Board of Education has said, you don't need to be using those. We would prefer you use a bus, but if you can't use a bus, some districts use Suburbans because they are far safer than vans. And then, of course, there are a lot of districts that use the little minivans to go help us with some of those extenuating circumstances, such as maybe we have a McKinney-Vento student, or maybe we have a child that was living here in Robertson County, and over the weekend they got placed in foster care at no choice of their own. Well, they can continue attending school. And, I think it's been a couple years ago, we had one placed in Macon County. We've had them placed in Metro Nashville, and we have to go get them.
Wow.
And so we use those vans to accomplish that task because it's quite expensive to send a school bus that far.
Oh, I can imagine.
But we are mandated to do that. And then you have those special circumstances with some of our special needs students that have behavior issues that present an unsafe riding environment, I guess you would say, if you got a large group of students, where we might put them in a van if they're really volatile students.
Right.
And I think you work in the school, so you would understand some of the challenges that we have today dealing with all of the behavior issues, because they're far different than when I started 2 decades ago.
Oh, yeah.
Working in education. Children today and their behavior, it looks a lot different. And we've had to adjust and acclimate, and I think we've done a really good job of that.
I do too.
but it does present a lot of challenges for transportation.
Yeah, and I mean, I just don't think people have any idea the daunting task of getting these kids to school, because what time is your first route out? What time does your first route go out?
So the buses leave out the earliest bus about 5 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
Because they drive out on the outskirts of the district. So by the time you leave the bus stop to get all the way out to Pleasant View and then work your way back up the Clarksville, Montgomery, Robertson County, Cheatham County line side there, you'll spend 30, 35 minutes by the time you get out there and then work your way back into Springfield. So
you figure it's starting as early as 5. So you've already driven a route this morning before you even came in here. Because some of these schools, you have that staggered start. When I first started looking at the school system, I was, particularly interested in Springfield because they start at 8:30, which doesn't intrude with what we're doing here on radio. And they worked it out where I can have I have first block planning. So my school, Greenbrier actually starts at 8, but I can't get there until 8:30. So I'm there 8:30 to 3:30. But the staggered start of the schools is about a lot of it's transportation, isn't it?
correct.
That's what I thought.
The more tiers you add, it allows us to utilize our transportation equipment, I think, more efficiently. When we look at bail times, when we look at schedules, when you look at zones, that's where transportation comes in. If you say we've got 55 drivers and we've got to be able to serve 7,000 or 8,000 students, well, you're going to have to have a lot of tiers to do that.
Yeah.
And so right now in the city, city buses are running 3 and 4 routes each. Your outlying routes like Joe Burns or East Robertson, and I would say even White House, although they're on a semi-staggered time there. But the Joe Burns and East, definitely, they pick up all kindergarten through 12th grade on the same bus, same time.
Oh, wow.
But then when you come into Springfield, you just can't do that. When you're running up and down, you might, like we've got one bus that runs down Main Street there, and it turns right on the 21st and just comes back down John L. Patterson, and it's full. So you fill that bus up with 90 students, there's no way you're going to have to make multiple. So we split it up, and that's how we do that at this point. And if we continue to hemorrhage with school bus drivers and attracting bus drivers, that's always an option. You could go and say, let's look at the bail times. How could we adjust them so that we could use the same drivers to do to accomplish
multiple
more
routes?
work?
Yeah.
And the trade-off to that is the drivers are probably closer to full-time hours, and they would get their benefits. Currently, we do that 4.5-hour, 5-hour day. That's where most of the routes average district-wide.
But you could then, that's just, as you said, you could make it available for other drivers to be able to get into that benefit level. If they did the multiple routes. That's the thing. People just I don't think they have any idea. They'll see, well, I saw a bus out on the road at 7 o'clock. So why would they see that scenario? I'll let you explain that. Why would they see a bus out late at night?
So we serve some other programs in the community, but the YCAP program is the big one. And so we provide transportation to those students. So when they finish their program in Coopertown, we would then transport those students home. So you'd see buses out later in the evening, 6:30 at night. You might even see after school buses because there's this huge emphasis. You're talking about academics and grades. So with those after school programs, we have to provide some type of transportation to get those students home. And so you'll see buses come back into town. I know on Tuesday and Thursdays I run after school, and it's usually 5:30 or 6. You leave the school at 4 and off you go to run all these students home in the city. And that's district-wide. We've got after-school programs in each of the schools that are in the district, and that's to help enrich and to help the students to hopefully be more successful when they go do that TCAP test, because we really need those grades to reflect what they know, and we need to do our part to remove those barriers to help them with that. And so transportation is a huge barrier for students. So we provide that access or that gateway for children to have access to the educational experience. And then we put the rest on you guys to do all the instructing. Work your magic.
There you go. Work your magic and they're great kids. It's so much fun. You have the knuckleheads, but they're still good kids. You just have to get them to, chill. But now, how is it as far as the athletic programs and stuff? I know that it really depends on if you can accommodate like all the sports and different things like that. If you can find drivers, if you can have buses available. But do you transport for most athletic events or just?
I would say a great majority. We have schools that are asking to leave earlier and earlier.
Yeah.
The school bus itself is our first priority is getting children to and from school and to and from home. That's our first priority. And so when teachers call and say, "Hey," a coach might say, "Can we leave at 3 instead of 4?" Well, that's going to be pretty difficult to
right.
to accommodate that. But we do our best. Sometimes that involves, and to the dismay and frustration of parents, it would involve if it's like a group that's going to maybe a big tournament that they've really excelled during the season, and now they got this opportunity to go to maybe state championship. We will take a driver and then we'll double up a route in an area. And oftentimes you know that a little bit out, and so you can send out notices pretty early to say, "Hey, this afternoon we're doubling this one route." Of course, we don't say why we're doing it, but we would double up the route, and that way we can make it possible for them all to go on one vehicle. Because chartering a big charter bus, it's quite expensive.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the schools are allocated some transportation funds, but when you're trying to split that up amongst all the athletic programs, although I think basketball and football probably eat up most of those funds for most schools.
Yeah.
And then all the rest of you guys, if you're doing track or soccer,
that's what we're dealing with right now.
All that other stuff, you sort of get what's left over.
Well, see, and that's the thing we're looking at. I'm the assistant track coach for Greenbrier. I'm still kind of like, y'all really want me to do this? But anyway, but the big thing is getting those kids to those meets. We've got several Thursday afternoon meets. And so you and I have had a conversation about how can we get them there, other than private vehicle. And so just trying to figure that out. Like I said, easy thing. I mean, just get my CDL. But then even then, is there a bus available for something like that?
I would say most of the times there would be a bus. Yeah. We do not have the largest sub fleet. I know there are other districts that probably maintain a larger fleet of spare buses than we do, but the cost of buses, they're really high. You're looking at between $145,000 and $165,000 for a bus. So we use the buses as long as we're able.
Okay,
And when we sell them, I know we just sold several, and they were like, "Wow, these things they've been run hard." I said 18 years, 200,000 plus miles. And
wow.
It's frustrating to hear people refer to school buses as light duty vehicles because there's no part of what they're doing that's light duty. Stop, go, the braking. I mean, that's hard on an engine.
Yes.
And you imagine they do that for 18 years.
Yeah.
Moving kids about or children about here in the community. But we try to accommodate. And I know there are times where folks will say, "Hey, we know y'all got some vans. If we have one available and we can make it work, we certainly try to accommodate that." But I remind folks all the time that those vans were purchased for those extenuating circumstances, and several of them are assigned to actual routes every day.
Sure.
That we are required to provide transportation for specific groups of students.
There's been a rumor, and you can tell me if you know anything about this or not, from the CTE, from the Career and Technical Education, there's been some stuff said about possibly some Suburbans being purchased for transportation. Is that true?
There are going to be 6.
Okay.
There will be some information that goes out with those. They will be used for CTE purposes only.
Okay.
So you wouldn't be able to check it out to say, "I want to go on a..."
So I couldn't take my kids to the track meet on that. Oh, man.
They'll be solely for that, solely for the purpose of doing
Career
CTE
programs,
competitions, and things like that.
That's a big issue.
It is, and they're trailers. So Mr. Gregory was really nice about getting trailers, so you're able to haul your stuff
with the hitch, all that.
Yeah, they're nice.
Okay.
We have 4 of them that have come in, so we're working on getting them all tagged up and insured and fuel cards and all that, because CTE will have to pay for all that.
Right. And so will they reserve them through you, or will that be a CTE thing?
It'll go through the bus shop, because we already do that with vans when people use the vans and whatnot during the day, because the vans do get checked out during the daytime for different SPED programs and where they go out and do the I can't think of what it's called right this second, but they learn how to work in the community. Workforce. That's what it is.
Yeah, and it's there's another word for it. It's not just workforce. It's I can't remember. I don't
life
have
skills, maybe.
Yeah,
some type of life skill.
I can't remember the specific word for it, but work release kind of. No, that wouldn't be right. But there is a work program, and there's always one teacher in each school that facilitates that and helps them to get that on the job training. There's especially in the medical field. There's a lot of opportunity for that, for kids to go out and work in some capacity. It's kind of hard for me with my audio video because there's just not a lot of audio video opportunities. You have to go to Nashville for those. And so there's not around here, there's not independent studios and those types of things. You would have to, for those kinds of internships, you'd have to travel a little bit further than we'd probably be comfortable with. But Mr. Josh Hinerman is here. He is our Director of Transportation for Robertson County Schools. How long have you been in this position with our school?
Going on 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Seems like yesterday.
I'm telling you, it goes quick, doesn't it?
It does.
That's crazy. But it's going quick. And this is Love the Bus Month, not to be confused with Bus Driver Appreciation Month. That's a different thing, right?
We do School Bus Driver Appreciation.
Right.
That's a different time of the year. And so Love the Bus is really just a campaign at the national level with the American School Bus Council, National Association of Pupil Transportation, and I would even say the NASDIP organization, that we go out and just emphasize the importance of the yellow school bus. It's more than people just see the bus moving about on the road, but they don't really realize the true value of that yellow bus. And it comes at a great expense to local districts to operate them. There's a lot of funds that are allocated to maintain a school transportation program. And so we're grateful to have that. But the yellow school bus, it's the safest way for children to get to school. We have 400,000+ school buses on the road here in the United States, and they move about 25 million children twice a day.
Wow.
And so I like sharing that, we've got a little over 100 buses, about 100 of them stay on the road daily and the rest are spares. And we're moving about 7,000 students 2 times a day.
Wow.
In about a 2.5, 3 hour window. And
That's
I think
incredible.
it's a huge responsibility. It seems like it would be overwhelming, but it gets done well because we have great professionals that do that work. And I think they do it well, considering they get very little thanks from parents. They get a lot of back talking from students, but they come in and they recognize, as I've said so many times, that children are just that, children. When, I just had that conversation with a driver recently. Well, this student just cursed me out and whatnot. And I remind them, that's the behavior of a child. Treat it as such.
Yeah.
See our children not for what they are right now, but what they are capable of becoming. And if you model the appropriate response, they will learn, wow, I could have handled that situation different. Now, if you turn around and scream at them, that's probably not going to fix the situation. It's just going to add fuel to the fire.
Well, and one thing too, and this is something that I just see constantly in my students, there's so much that they're dealing with that we didn't have to deal with. And a lot of them in home situations that we just can't even imagine. There were troubled situations when I was a kid too, but not like we have today.
No, children carry a lot of baggage today that they shouldn't.
It's just incredible. You better believe it. In a lot of the drug crisis, there's so many families that have been affected by opioid addiction and those kinds of things. I've talked to a lot of people in law enforcement that said that it used to be different when the Child Protective Services would go in to check on a child, that there would be a fight to keep the kids. It's like, no, it's fine. And now you have a situation, unfortunately, that a lot of the times they'll go, well, there's their stuff, because they're caught up in their own addictions and things like that. And there are so many kids living in situations that we can't even fathom. So odds are, if a kid's giving you a really hard time, there's probably a very big story behind it. And the only way you deal with that's in love and not yelling and screaming. I just when I have trouble with a kid, I'm always kind of going, okay, I want to peel back the layers.
It goes back to that building relationships.
You better believe
with your students. It goes a long way, and you're right, kids. I think that the biggest downfall of the family unit today is just the fact that you have both parents are working.
Yeah.
A lot of children live in their split homes, and it's hard when it's just one person trying to do all the work, and then they're coming home and trying to get food on the table, and then you got to clean, and you're tired, and so you don't get to spend that extra time. I know I've got a 17-year-old, and it's a trial sometimes. And now we're getting ready to start soccer, and I'm just dreading these late nights getting home and whatnot. But it's our investment into them. And I just have to remind myself, because it's just a short time that you're going to have them. They're a great blessing if you remind yourself that what's the scripture say? Happy is the man whose quiver is full of them. Yeah, they are a blessing from above. I hope people realize that.
Yeah, for sure. And you just can't pouring into a kid's life is never a waste. And so if you're interested in pouring into the kids' lives here in Robertson County, I guarantee you, Mr. Hinerman would love to put you to work. So how would they find out about the different things that you have going on and the needs you have for the?
So we have our social media webpage, both Instagram and we have Facebook. But you can apply by just visiting the Robertson County School website, www.rcstn.net, and click on employment opportunities and fill out that application. Make sure you do your 2 references. A lot of folks forget to do those. And when you get done filling that application out, you got to actually go apply for the bus driver job and then give us a call there at the bus shop.
Okay.
615-384-4555, and we'll help you get through that process. I'm not going to say driving a bus is always fun, because there are days that you're going to be presented with significant amounts of character building opportunities. But at the end of the day, and at the end of a long career, you will be able to look back and say, wow, I made a difference.
Made a difference. Give that phone number one more time for me.
615-384-4555.
So it's Love the Bus Month. What else would you say? We've got just a couple of minutes here. Anything else you want to share with people before we wrap up our time together?
I can't think of anything just overwhelming that's going on right now in transportation. I think most folks have seen where the board's looking at some rezoning and whatnot. And so we've been busy in that process, because zoning directly impacts the work that we do. So that's been an interesting experience to do that. I don't like the Z word, as I call it, just as much as I can imagine parents don't like it either. But so that's something that we're dealing with right now. We've had a lot of sickness. So that's been a great trial just to get through that. But we know the teachers have been struggling. And then our student population, we've had a lot of students out sick. So even today, I picked up, I normally have 11 pre-K, and I only had 5 this morning.
Oh, my goodness.
Asking the parents, where are they? Infirma. And I'm like, oh, my goodness, y'all been out for 5 days. I was hoping this 5-day break was going to help us with that. But they're sick. And I'm like, oh, no. So
yeah, see, I was really hoping. That's one of the big things about having that break, because we had the nurse came on our social media, or she came on our email just the day we got out for snow, saying, wipe down your classrooms. We got so many kids out. And I thought, well, with us out, maybe that'll kick the sickness. But that's a big number that you had that big of a deficit this morning. Wow.
Yes, I was quite surprised.
Yeah.
But I remember their teacher was coughing on the last day of school last week. And I said, well, it's had enough time to do its thing. So maybe it's working through them. But the little ones, I think that's where I get my sickness from time to time, because they cough and don't cover their mouth. They're always teaching them, trying to teach the littles how to do things the right way.
Yeah.
And they just... Either way,
they're learning. It's a lot of fun. It is. I can't say enough about my pleasure of being involved with the school system. My husband as well. It has been such a blessing in our life, and it would bless you as well, and would bless us if you would take on a bus route or be a attendant. There's a job for you. I guarantee it.
Great part-time gig. It pays pretty well. $24, a little over 24, almost 25 an hour.
Yeah.
4.5 hours a day.
There you go.
Break in between the day and come back in the afternoons.
Well, and from a teacher perspective, if you're a teacher and you want to supplement your income a little bit, I have a lot of teachers, they'll go and they'll do summer jobs. You could drive a bus and wouldn't have to do your summer job.
Amen. I just had a Coopertown Middle School teacher reach out last week, and I'm like, He says, "Do you think I could drive a bus in Coopertown next year?" Absolutely.
You better believe it.
I think put you to work.
I think a lot of teachers just don't even entertain that idea. And I think if I didn't have the radio show, I think I'd be doing it.
He asked he says, "What do you think it'll be a year?" I said, "A little over $20,000 extra dollars." And that all goes to your retirement.
That is significant, guys. I'm telling you,
part-time job.
You dang, that's real money, y'all. Come on.
So, yep.
But listen, thank you for coming in. I appreciate it so much, and love the bus month. We've got just a few more days in February, but love the bus month. Just let it be all the time when you see those big yellow buses on the road. And obey those lights and those arms when they come out, because those little kiddos, I'll just say it again, the Ilya Maldonado's little sister got killed because somebody failed to yield to a bus stop sign. So
we've had 3 students get hit in Robertson County because people didn't stop.
That's right.
None of them passed, thankfully.
God bless.
But I can remember when I was a small kid in Marshall County, a student getting hit while his mom stood there and watched.
Good Lord.
Helpless. So mind the stop
Please
signs.
be careful. Please be careful. But that was something our manager here at Ebenezer Broadcasting, he came in and we were talking one day. He came in and shared that. And I was like, I just can't even imagine. Can't even imagine. So please obey the stop.
It's a chill up my back.
It does mine too. Every time I think about that.
It's the worst part of our job when you've opened the door, stop signs out, and the car just keeps coming. And you're blowing the horn. Thankfully, we've told our drivers, keep the students on the bus, but you're blowing the horn, trying to get their attention. We've got wig-wag, flashing lights now on the bus. You got strobing stoplights, and it still doesn't draw attention. And they just come flying right through, and then they just look at you with this look
it's
of,
unbelievable.
What is it? Why are you blowing your horn at me?
Because you're stupid.
Because you're not paying attention. You could have killed a child.
You better believe it. So please, we'll leave you with that. Thank you for joining me.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll have Mayor Vogel in tomorrow here on One Street Over. Have a blessed day. This is 1100 WSGI. God bless. Have a fabulous day.